how come the rules of Islam or the rules of Quran are different than what was in the Torah and the Injil? Why was the same thing, the Friday's importance, the 5 daily prayers, was haram in Quran and the Sunnah, not made the same thing in previous religions?
ما يود الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب ولا المشركين أن ينزل عليكم من خير من ربكم والله يختص برحمته من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم ما ننسخ من آية أو ننسها نأت بخير منها أو مثلها ألم تعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير ألم تعلم أن الله له ملك السماوات والأرض وما لكم من دون الله من ولي ولا نصير أم تريدون أن تسألوا رسولكم كما سئل موسى من قبل ومن يتبدل الكفر بالإيمان فقد ضل سواء السبيل.
Why did the previous prophets not follow Islam? So verses number 105 to 107 actually helps us understand this, and this is something that I've heard recently from several people. What they're implying is that how come the rules of Islam or the rules of Quran are different than what was in the Torah and the Injil? Why was the same thing, the Friday's importance, the 5 daily prayers, was haram in Quran and the Sunnah, not made the same thing in previous religions? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us some of the wisdom behind it. First and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that, look, if Allah were to abrogate something or to replace something with something similar, then that is either similar or better. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything while we do not. And then the second point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here is the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that many of us forget. We had one episode where we talked about my house, my rules. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is the owner, who is the sole owner of the whole world, including you and I. And He has the right and authority to tell us what to do and what not to do based on His wisdom, because He knows what's good for us and what's not good for us. So that's first and foremost the authority, and to realize that we may not be able to understand all the wisdom behind a ruling of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, behind a decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That does not mean that there is no wisdom. And sometimes we may be able to partially understand the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such as in many examples we know that the rules were changed to have something come into the religion at a gradual pace, like this issue of alcohol, firstly being allowed to then being prohibited for salah and then being finally fully prohibited. Same thing with other ahkam, other rulings of the deen. We also know from the verses that some things, some pure things, some tayyibat were made unlawful for the children of Israel because of their sins and their disobediences. So it was permissible, then it was made impermissible because of their transgression. Then when Isa alayhi salam came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relaxed it to make it easy for them. And lastly, in the description of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Quran, we know that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran, the Sharia that was given to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, is basically making things that are tayyibat, that is pure and good, permissible for you, and what is harmful to be made prohibited for you.